I used to love old books. Their smell, the yellowed pages, handwritten notes in the margins. Each one felt like a relic from a forgotten world. I often wandered Berlin's flea markets in search of them, the older the better. That's how I found the book. A small stall near Mauer Park. A hunched old man with trembling hands sold me a tattered German anthology from 1913. No cover, no title, just pages bound in worn leather. I didn't even haggle. The moment I held it, I felt something, like the weight of the paper was heavier than it should be. At home, I flipped through the pages. Most of them were faded poems, strange philosophical musings, and old sketches of things I didn't recognize. One of a tree with mouths instead of leaves, another of a house with no doors. I noticed something odd. Page 91 was glued shut. Naturally, I peeled it open. The glue was brittle. It cracked like dried blood. Between pages 90 and 92, a single sheet revealed itself. But it wasn't printed. It was handwritten, shaky, messy script, in ink that had turned brown with age. The text was in German, but the dialect felt archaic. I'll do my best to translate it. To the one who reads this, do not look behind you when you reach the last word. Chills ran through me. I smiled nervously and instinctively, glanced over my shoulder. Nothing, just the bookshelf. The next part was worse. Once this page is seen, you are no longer alone. It watches now. Every day it becomes clearer. At first, a silhouette, then a man with no face, then your face. I felt the sudden urge to rip the page out, but my hands wouldn't move. My body froze. Burn the book before the seventh night, or he stays. That was all. I closed the book. I tried to laugh it off. Just a creepy story, a prank by a previous owner. But that night I had trouble sleeping. I dreamt of a figure standing in the shadows of my room. I never saw its face. By the second night I started noticing things. Reflections showing movement that didn't exist. Cold drafts in closed rooms. Whispers in unintelligible German dialects. By night 4, the figure had a form. Tall, slightly hunched, head tilted. Always at the edge of my vision. I didn't tell anyone. How could I? Hey, I opened a page in an old book, and now I'm haunted. They'd lock me up. Night 5, I tried burning the book. I went outside, lit a match, but the paper wouldn't catch fire. Not even a spark. It felt wet, cold, like flesh. I tried soaking it in alcohol. Still nothing. Night 6, I woke up with the book lying on my chest. I had left it in the kitchen. On the morning of the 7th day, I made a decision. I went back to the market. The stall was gone. No trace of the old man. I asked around. No one remembered him. That night I didn't sleep. I waited, sitting on the couch with every light on. The book sat on the table. At midnight, the lights went out. All of them. There was a knock. Not on the door, on the window. My apartment is on the 3rd floor. I ran to the hallway. The book was open. Page 91 glowed faintly in the dark. The words had Chang. Ed. He is inside, no. I turned. He stood at the end of the hall, just watching. He looked like me, but blurred, pale, hollow-eyed. Then everything went black. I don't remember what happened after. I woke up the next morning on the floor. The book was gone. That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, nothing. No knocks, no shadows, no whispers. Until today, I was browsing another flea market in Kreuzberg. Just walking, clearing my head. That's when I saw it. A young woman, maybe 20, holding a book. No cover, bound in warm leather. She peeled open a page. She stopped. Her face changed. I recognized it. I stared at the text on page 91. It wasn't printed like the rest of the book. It looked handwritten, shaky and uneven, as if someone had scribbled it in a panic. If you're reading this, it's already too late. The message continued in broken German. My German is fluent, of course, but this was strange, archaic phrasing, strange dialects. I translated as best as I could. The one who opens page 91 must pay the debt. The words are a gate. You've been seen. That phrase chilled me to the bone. You've been seen. Seen by what? That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt like something was watching me. At one point I woke up drenched in sweat and saw a tall, shadowy silhouette standing at the foot of my bed, just staring. I blinked, and it was gone. I tried to rationalize it as sleep paralysis, or maybe the stress of exams, but the dread lingered. The next day I brought the book to the university library. A professor I trusted, Dr. Lehman, was an expert in European folklore and ancient texts. I showed him page 91. He didn't say a word at first. Then he looked up at me with this hollow expression and whispered, "You need to burn this, now." I thought he was joking. "Dr. Lehman, is this some kind of cursed object?" He didn't laugh. "No, this is not a joke. There's a legend about a page that wasn't meant to exist. It appears in random books. No one knows how, but those who read it, people claim they disappear, or go insane." "Disappear?" He nodded gravely. "There were reports. A graduate student in Berlin, 1983. A teacher in Leipzig, 1997. Both vanished. All that was left behind was a book, always open to page 91. He gave me one last look before pushing the book back toward me, across the desk. "Burn it, Alex, tonight." I tried, I swear I tried. That evening, I took the book to an abandoned lot behind my dorm, poured lighter fluid over it, and lit a match. But as soon as the flames touched it, the fire went out, as if something snuffed it out from inside. The pages didn't even blacken. Then I saw something that made my stomach drop. The writing on page 91 had changed. It now read, "Running won't help. The debt is bound in flesh." I threw the book in a trash bin and ran home, but the nightmares got worse. I began seeing things in mirrors, reflections that didn't move like me, or showed a dark figure standing behind me when I was alone. Once I opened the fridge and found all the food rotting, even though it had just been bought the day before. Then, on the 5th night, I woke up with a sharp pain in my arm. I turned on the light. There were words etched into my skin, not cut with a knife, like they were burned in without heat. One must replace the reader. That's when I realized the truth. This wasn't just a curse, it was a chain, a cycle. You read the page, you're marked, and the only way to escape is to pass it on. I didn't know what to do. I considered telling the police, or a priest or even the media. But what would I say? Hi, I read a cursed page in a random book, and now I'm being hunted by a shadowy entity? They'd lock me up. That's when I found an online forum, a private one, buried deep in the German web. It was filled with posts from others claiming the same thing. They had found page 91, different books, different places, same text, same outcome. And the last message I saw before the site went offline was from someone named Sven. You can give it to someone else, but you'll never be clean again. The room fell into a paralyzing silence. I didn't dare breathe. The sound had disappeared, but in its place was a growing sensation, like static electricity crawling along my spine. I tried to move my legs, but they wouldn't respond. From behind the curtain, something shifted. Not a sound, just the impression of motion, as if space itself bent around it. Then a whisper. Not audible, not exactly. It was like my thoughts had been hijacked. The voice didn't echo in the room, it echoed in my mind. You shouldn't have read it. I turned, but there was no one there. I wanted to scream, but my throat was dry, locked in place. The walls of the apartment suddenly looked unfamiliar, as if I had never been there before. And the curtain, it moved again. I backed away, fumbling for the doorknob, but it wasn't there. The door was gone. In its place was page 91, pasted to the wall. The same torn page I'd thrown away, now larger, pulsing faintly, as if breathing. I couldn't look away. The text was the same, but the final sentence now read, You're part of the story now. My phone buzzed violently in my pocket. A message from an unknown number. Look at the curtain. I dropped the phone. The curtain was slowly peeling back. Something white. Not clothing. Not skin. A surface smooth, too smooth, was pushing forward. I ran to the window and tried to open it. Locked. The light in the room flickered, then went out entirely. I screamed. And then, nothing. Silence. Darkness. I woke up on the floor hours later. The room was normal. The door was back. The curtain still. No sign of the page, but the phone still had the message. Look at the curtain. Time sent, 3:17 a.m. I didn't sleep that night, and when I checked the book again, page 91 was back inside. Different text. Now it said, You're next. I haven't touched the book in days, but it's still there on my shelf, always in the same spot. Sometimes I find it lying open, even though I haven't moved it. Always on page 91. I tried burning it. The fire refused to catch. I tried drowning it. The pages dried instantly. I left it outside. It came back. Once I threw it into a public trash bin 3 blocks away. The next morning it was on my desk. I started hearing whispers again, but not from the curtain. They're inside the walls now. And there's more. My friend, Daniel, the one who originally gave me the book, he's gone. I mean that literally. His apartment is empty, like no one ever lived there. The landlady says the unit's been unoccupied for months. There's no digital footprint of him anymore. No socials, no emails, nothing. Except one thing. I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just one sheet of paper. We're the ink now. We live in the margins. You helped us grow. Thank you. It was written in the same typeface as page 91. I've stopped sleeping. Every night at exactly 3:17 a.m., I wake up. Not from a nightmare, but to silence. Total suffocating silence. The kind that presses against your eardrums. And then I hear it, from behind the curtain, breathing. Long, slow, not mine, and always followed by a sound like paper tearing. Last night I pulled the curtain back. There was no window, only white pages endless, stretching beyond what should be the outside. I saw writing, but not printed, written by hand. My handwriting, thousands of lines, all starting with, I shouldn't have read page 91. Now I understand. The page isn't just a warning, it's an invitation. The moment you read it, you become a part of it. I don't know how much time I have left before I disappear like Daniel. So if you're reading this, I'm sorry, but someone else has to carry the story. And you just did. Welcome to page 91.